I need 4 volunteers here. Because you know what, we're getting active today. This is a movement. We're not going to just sit. We're going to get active. So here we go. Thank you, bras. All right, one more. All right, here we go. Now, if y'all will step back just a little bit so I can read your signs and get to them. All right. So, thank you. Again, I'm Terri Michael. Thank you for having me out today. I am also representing the Badass Teacher Association. We're 39,000 teachers strong all across this country. I'm very blessed to be a part of that national movement and the leader of the Badass Teachers here in Alabama. Also, SOS support our students out of Huntsville. I am not a teacher. I have never been a teacher, but I do believe in our public schools, and I am an advocate. I began as an advocate for children that were being bullied and not getting the help they needed at school. I thought, it must be a communication problem. They must just not understand what's going on. I went up in the schools and started trying to work with the administrators, and I found out, you know what, these kids weren't getting help. They were sweeping it under the carpet, especially in our Title I schools. And that concerned me. I said, why is this happening? That led me to No Child Left Behind. As you know, in our Title I schools, under No Child Left Behind, incident reporting is very important. They want those numbers to be low. They have a lot riding on that. That's why they were suppressing the numbers. Well, then guess what? No Child Left Behind is leaving, and we got something called Race to the Top. I said, what's Race to the Top? So I started looking into that. That led me to the corporate reform movement. It was like a rabbit hole. I felt like Alice in Wonderland. It was all so complicated and so confusing. I'm blessed that I have a lot of time that I can spend studying these things. So I want today to share some truths with you. First of all, let me say I'm mostly Democrat. Okay, I'm purple. Okay, I'm purple. I got a few Republican tendencies. Don't boo me off the cement area. I am mostly Democrat, though. I know some of the things I'm going to say today might be slightly controversial for some of you. I hope that you, number one, won't boo me, and number two, that you'll listen with an open mind and just consider what I'm saying. We all need to take the facts in and decide for ourselves. That's what I did. I didn't come at it from a political point of view. I came at it from concern for the students. We need to stop thinking about this as black or blue or red. Because you know what, this is green. This is corporate money that we're talking about. Students First is up there lobbying our Democrats and our Republicans. Teach for America, lobbying them both. So we need to kind of get out of this blue and red box, and we need to start thinking green. We need to start thinking, what would Bill Gates do? What would the Waltons do? What would Murdoch do? Once you think of it from their point of view, it all starts to make sense to you. So let's go ahead and start out. We're going to talk about some of the lies, all right? So let's go ahead and start out. We'll start out easy. We'll start out easy. We'll start out with Teach for America. Teach for America. I'm not afraid. I'll tell you the good stuff they say. They're young. They're energetic. They have innovative ideas. They think outside the box. Okay. You know what you don't know about Teach for America? Number one, they pay between $3,000 and $5,000 a year just for the privilege of hiring these people. Huntsville, Alabama is spending $300,000 this year for Teach for America teachers. They could get education majors for no cost. Of course, their salary, but they're paying that to Teach for America too. So understand, they're paying $300,000 a year just for the honor of having kids come in and teach that have no education certification. In Huntsville, 12th grade science teacher has a degree in theater. In Butler High School, one of our highest need school. That's what Teach for America is. It started out a noble concept 20 years ago, coming into areas that needed teachers because people didn't want to teach in the undesirable areas. Well, you know what? You need to give them incentive to get educators up in those schools. You don't put a Band-Aid on it. You don't look for a quick fix. You give them incentives, and you tell them why it is important that they do that, and you get them to come up in our schools, and you get them to teach. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of this one. We are going to get rid of Teach for America. Is out of here. That's a lie we have exposed. So let's go to this. I'm sorry. You did wonderful, though. Put your hands together for him. Nice job. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's talk about testing. They say testing is good. You want to know if you have a good teacher, right? You want to know if your child knows anything, so let's test. In Huntsville, once again, that is my point of reference, although I do represent teachers all across Alabama. In Huntsville, for example, for the rest of this year, they're not going to be doing much learning. They are preparing for tests and they are taking tests. There is such a thing as over-testing. And you know what? Testing doesn't tell you if you have a good teacher or not. It tells you if that child is having a good day. If that child's in the mood to take that test, and if they can remember the information. We have to stop evaluating our teachers based on testing. Testing is a benchmark so we know what this child has retained, what we need to work on. That's what testing came about as, and these corporate reformers, or as I call them, predatory reformers, these predatory reformers have twisted it and they're overusing it. People like David Coleman, that was an architect of Common Core. He's a data man. It's all about the data, 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 data. Your child is now a data point. It's all about the dollars and the data. So you know what? We're not buying into the testing. We are not buying into the over-testing of our children. We want them to be taught. We don't want them to be tested. Our child is not a data point. We're getting to the controversial ones, aren't we? Okay. So here we go. Let's talk about Common Core, because this is kind of my area right here. We're going to talk about Common Core right now, some truths behind Common Core. Common Core is not just about a standard all across our country. There's a lot of other elements that go along with Common Core. The tying teacher testing, student testing to teacher evaluations, that goes with it. The data collection goes with it. The people behind Common Core, the corporate money behind Common Core, they have board members that are sitting on Students First and Teach for America, the Broad Academy. It's one big incestuous group. When you follow the money, when you see where Common Core has come from, you will understand that this was not created by educators that care about our children. They care about increasing the testing. Pearson makes money on all kinds of ends, creating the testing, creating the textbooks, and even the evaluations are getting into it now. And let me really blow your mind about Pearson. Pearson has just acquired a company that's going to evaluate children for ADD. Now wrap your brain around that, all right? Pearson is now going to tell us if our children have ADD or ADHD. They want to put people in the schools that will do the evaluations on our students. A lot of parents that aren't keeping up with this and don't understand, all they know is some nice person here is saying, hey, your child may need some help, let me evaluate them. Well, you know what? Almost every 8 or 9 or 10-year-old would need something to be able to sit at that desk and take hours and hours and hours of testing.
Especially since they took PE away.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Under Common Core, especially, and I can't say enough, Common Core is really hurting our high poverty communities, our urban communities, and I'll tell you why. Because it is No Child Left Behind on steroids, or else, as we could refer to it, no chance for Latinos and blacks. All right? No Child Left Behind is bad. No one's going to say it's good. It left all kinds of kids behind. Well, what's different about Race to the Top? There's not a whole lot different about Race to the Top. So I want you to be aware that that achievement gap, if you want to call it achievement gap, I know people prefer other words for it, has stayed the same or even increased in some communities and are No Child Left Behind. So why are we continuing this? Common Core is not good for the students in our high poverty and our urban communities, because you know what? They struggle because of poverty. I want someone to tell me one thing in Common Core that addresses poverty. Every school in Alabama that's failing is a what? High poverty school. How is Common Core going to turn that around? What's Common Core going to do for the kids in high poverty? They're not. It's not. It's not going to do anything for them. So you know what? I think that's out of here too. Thank you, sir. Wonderful job. I got such great assistance today. Hi, it's me and you now. How you doing? What's your name? G. Ooh, you just got one. G. All right, G. This one's a tough one, and I want you guys to hang in here with me on this, okay? Choice. Choice sounds good. I understand the concept behind choice. I stood up against Michal Rhee at the Birmingham Town Hall meeting and shouted her down over this. She called me a racist because I was not for choice. I want you to understand something. What I'm for is an equal quality education in every child's neighborhood. Yeah. All right? That is what I'm for. That's what people deserve. Why do we need choice? We need choice because we have administrations, because we have superintendents, because we have systems passing laws and rules and regulations that are hurting those kids in those high poverty schools. We're starving our high poverty schools, and we're setting them up with things like No Child Left Behind with over-testing, and then we're saying, look, you're failing. You're failing. So you know what? We're going to come in and we're going to save you. The same people destroying the schools are the same people that's coming up in there and saving them. So I want you all to think about that and make that connection there the next time you hear people talking about choice. I can't urge you enough to get on the computer, do your homework, follow the money trail. The people that are behind choice, you can almost always see who is doing the research, where the numbers have come from. You can follow that. There's a lot of data out there about charter schools and about voucher programs and how bad it is. Very few successful charters are out there. There are some. It is possible. I'm not saying it's not, but I want to ask you this. In the atmosphere that Alabama has with the corruption and the backroom politics, what chance do you think we have of having a charter system and a voucher system that is not corrupt?
Zero.
Yeah, I don't think there's much chance of that. So what I want us to do, I want us to understand why our schools are failing, and I want to hold those people accountable, because the administrations are the ones making the choices. The administrations are making the choices to not give basketballs to the girls at Johnson High School, to not allow the students at Johnson High School to play their instruments during the daytime because it's too loud. Johnson used to have one of the best band programs around, and they have decimated it over the last few years. Those kids can't play their instruments during the daytime. Would that happen in a more affluent community? No, it wouldn't. They are setting these kids up for failure. I cannot say that enough. So please, let's hold the right people accountable. The teachers that are in our high poverty schools, they are amazing. They are up against so much, and they are providing the very best buffer that they can. They are under so much stress, and they're trying to do what's best for the child, but the administration's making them do things that they know are wrong. It's not educationally sound. It's not developmentally appropriate. They got to go to school every day, and they got to do this to their students. I want you to wrap your mind around that. Can you imagine being responsible for 8, 9, 10-year-old kids that you love with all your heart? You're not doing the job to get rich. We can all agree on that. You're doing it because you're passionate. So you're going to come up in there, and you're going to have to do these things to these students that you know is wrong. You know that you're turning them off of reading. You know you're causing them to dislike school, to dislike math. That is a heartbreaking thing for a teacher, of all people, a teacher to do, because they have the biggest hearts. And the thing is, you got to know, why are you not hearing this from a teacher? Why are you hearing this from me? Why do you think?
They want to keep their job.
2 reasons. Because now that we're tying so many things to evaluations, there's so many ways they can manipulate those evaluations to show they're a bad teacher. And believe me, it's happening all over Alabama. Teachers that have been getting 4s, which is the most on their evaluations consistently, are now getting letters saying they're on probation and have to take extra classes because they're bad teachers. All right? This is wrong that we're doing that to our teachers. They're under so much stress right now. And our kids, you got to remember, our teachers' work environment is your child's learning environment. So I talk a lot about teachers, but I want you all to understand, when I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about your students too. I'm talking about your children, because I want what's best for the teachers so that the students can get back to learning, so that we can restore our teachers to the profession that they deserve to have, and that our students can start learning. I had a mom tell me the other day, she sat down, they had a new Dr. Seuss book. You know, it's Dr. Seuss week or what. So, okay, let's sit down and read Dr. Seuss. No, my teacher told me I did not have to read today. I looked at her and I looked to my left, and there was another parent there, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you serious? They have to tell the children that to get them through that one more test, to get them to do one more thing. They see the students don't like it, so they're like, okay, you won't have to read anymore, just do this. The student's not understanding that when they go home, they can do it for pleasure. So mom's like, let's read. And he's like, no, teacher said I don't have to. That breaks my heart. That just breaks my heart. So these are the truths that I wanted to put out there to you today. My name is, I just enjoyed standing by G. So, hopefully, I put enough holes in that choice myth that you all will go home and you will research it. Thank you, G. Hopefully, I put enough thoughts in your head that you're going to, don't take my word for it. I want you to research it, because you know what? Then you'll learn it really well, and then you'll be up here talking. You'll be going to meetings. You'll pass it on, because that's the only way we're going to win our public schools back, is by sharing this information with everybody. They're advertising, they're buying all kinds of space, they're sending things home to the kids at school. You know, we can't do that, those of us that are against these predatory reformers. So, I'm Terri Michal with the Badass Teacher Association and SOS Support Our Students. I do have a few handouts. If you'd like some, I have some business cards. If you, all right. If you need anything, have any questions, just be sure and hit me up. And I want to thank you very, very, very much for having me out here today.